Hey, good morning. So I'm actually just making a little bit of a documentation on a frame that I received from the manufacturer, and I'm actually returning it. I'm returning it because I don't feel like I got the right fork. And I sent them pictures, I sent them everything, and they still maintain that it is the right fork. It is a Winspace T something 1500 something. I like the frame. I liked it a lot. I liked it so much that I bought it. But here's the rub. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and just stick the fork in. And before you say, "Hey, Jason, it's backwards," it's not backwards. Cable's on that side. So, all right. Now this is an arrow frame. Let's see if I can set this correctly. Now this is an arrow frame. Let's line everything up. Really? That's the fit that I get with an arrow frame? And they say that that bottom race is not needed when I showed them that also because that didn't fit. But really, that's the fitment that I get? Well, actually, I'm sorry, the bottom bearing is not in there, so don't mind that. And I'm not going to grab it out of the package. But really, that's the fit that I get right now. All of this gap in there is what I get. You see that? That's what I get? You see that? It can't be right. I told them that this was a fork from a different bike. And they said, no, that's the correct fork. And if that's the case, I don't want this. This is not a ding against Winspace. I bought this frame because it was highly regarded by several individuals who I spoke to. It just doesn't feel that that is the right fit for this fork. Now again, I know I'm holding it in here and it's not perfect, but that can't be right. Now if you go on the website, on Winspace's website, that does not look like that on the website. There is a significantly larger lip on this fork here. It's much deeper, it's much taller, and it's much more pronounced, and it fills in this entire gap right here. I know this is really hard to visualize, but I can't really pull up the, I can't really pull it up right now. Otherwise, I like the fit and the finish. I would consider purchasing a different one, but when I send this back, I want to follow up with them, and I want to know, A, was that really the fork intended to go with this? So let's set this to the side. And so again, I hate to put a company on blast, Winspace, you guys, so here's all the positives. You guys worked with me through the entire process. I communicated with you guys before I purchased it about the logistics of purchasing it, what was available, my size, fitment. You guys shipped in a timely fashion. There were zero issues with that. It was packaged appropriately. I've bought other frames before from other manufacturers. This one came in a really small box. I thought it was kind of small. I'm like, there couldn't possibly be a frame in there. Definitely was a frame in there. Everything was packaged very well. And I'm going to package it up just as well and put it all back in the box, send it right back to their American warehouse here in the United States. I believe that's where it also shipped from. Even through the process of me sort of disputing that this is the correct fork, I really, it almost makes me want to buy another frame and kind of the same frame again, but in a different color and show the difference between them. It just doesn't, it's not the right fork. I have several other bikes and none of them have that kind of fit. As far as the fork and frame interface, that's for an aero bike, literally an aero bike, that is an unforgivable thing. So I'm not sure why they're saying, and I asked them again, I like triple checked, sent them pictures, sent them everything that was needed, and then they said no, that was the correct fork. There was only there were a couple of markings, I don't know if that'll focus or not. There were only a few markings on the fork. I think there's a QC sticker on here that says absolutely nothing. The QC sticker literally just says basically QC. But this one actually has some numbers on it, and I sent them pictures of that, and they're like, no, that's the right fork. The fork looks great. Flush mount brakes. I mean, everything about the frame looks really nice. I just think that they happen to give me the wrong fork. The other thing is I actually looked it up. That fork goes to a different bike. I forget which frame it is, but it's a different road frame that they have, and it goes to that one. I looked at it, and it's a perfect match for it if you look on their website. But otherwise, the frame itself is pretty dope. It's pretty light. It had high reviews. There was a guy on YouTube who actually took this frame in, had all the paint removed, had it scanned and analyzed, and had it repainted, and it came back with a huge thumbs up. I wouldn't mind owning this frame. I would just prefer to get the right fork with it. And it was $1,500 for the frame, I think it was, which is not a horrible price. It's actually a pretty dope price. Like, I would get this painted in some absurd color. If I was to do this and get the correct fork, I would certainly have this painted in just an absolutely ridiculous paint scheme because I can. The paint is really nice though. I'm not gonna lie, this is a really nice paint job. I actually don't even mind the Winspace, the font that they used and all the branding that they put on it. I don't mind it at all. It's a very good frame. Anyway, this was my little rant about the Winspace bike frame and how I feel like this fork just isn't the right fork. See, one last thing I'm going to do is very, very carefully take a pair of calipers. I'm going to very carefully measure. I do intend on owning this frame at some point, but I want the right fork. And I'm convinced this is the wrong one. So very carefully, that's about 12.41 mil is the height of this lip here. If I'm correct, the correct lip and size is going to be different, and it should be approximately like 18 mil instead of 12, so that's a difference of 6 mil. So let's take the frame and actually do a very rough, very, very rough estimate. So you're looking at, is that 15 mil? You're looking at about 15 mil. So it's a few mil off, and I just don't think it's right. Otherwise, it's a pretty cool frame. It came with all the bits and parts that's needed. Came with a complete headset, and it came with the seat post, which is custom for them. This actually looks just like the seat post out of my. It looks very much so like the seat post out of my my tarmac. Suspiciously, but anyway, I like the frame. I would buy it again, but if I buy it, I'm going to return this one. If I buy it again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the fork immediately and make sure that it's the correct fork. Again, I think this is just a very honest mistake on their part. I'm looking for a new bike to build. I got a bunch of the parts, and I just need a frame, and I'm a little screwed right now for that, so we'll see. I'm a little leery about just buying another frame from them without returning this one and actually getting a refund for it. So I want to see how the refund process goes, so I'll keep you up to date. All right, thanks.